G'day ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on my journey through the ecological dynamics and constraints-led approach to grappling. Had a really good sessions, a couple of really good sessions yesterday actually. Now I'm going to do two videos in one, so you're going to see the connection. But one thing that popped up yesterday in my email was a comment, or not a like. So this like here. Now, this is a blog that I wrote. I started writing back in 2021, and you know it's evolved, and that's where I was kind of trying to use it a little bit as a journal, a training journal. Wasn't particularly consistent, but was fairly consistent when I was trying to sort out things that I was learning. And it was actually quite funny because since I've been doing these video blogs, I kind of forgot that I was writing these things out, and it's pretty funny because when I say funny, you know what I mean. Like November 9th, using disappointment for rapid improvement, and that's me just basically trying to come to terms with the fact that I haven't particularly I've been training so much and training and just training, and I didn't get the brown belt even though I was kind of hoping for it. And it really made me look at what I was doing. So, and it made me sort of start thinking, maybe I'm just being held back because of my fitness and that sort of thing. And so, in organising my knowledge, it was essentially after I'd listened to a whole heap of podcasts and that sort of thing, and the one that came up quite regularly was the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast, and they were talking on one of the episodes about organising your knowledge. And at the time I'd already been introduced to the ecological dynamics approach, but I wasn't actually implementing it at the time. So, and I probably would have had a number of those, a number of those objections that other people had. Like, and even in this post, I wrote something about, I tend to believe, here we go, so I tend to believe I learn best under a systemized process. So, where is it? Yeah, anyway, essentially I tend to believe I learn best under a systemized process rather than the gamified one. Again, I'm still learning, but I tend to find myself looking for answers in visual aids, breakdowns, mapping, etc. And I think at this point I was looking for connections between the answers, and that I would like to see them laid out before me to try. And then, and even I admit that I'm like, anyway, that's all just me, Hunter S. Thompsoning my way through this. So, what's funny is November 21, between November 21 and December 6, I had, the more I'd been talking about it with Alex, and and sort of reading a bit more and learning a bit more and listening to the podcast and that sort of thing. So what's that? That's like 3 weeks. Let's have a look. 3 weeks. So November 21. Yeah. So 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks. And I went from that to basically starting to connect the ecological approach or the ecological dynamics and constraints led to theories that I'd written about in July 29th, 2021. So I thought that was really cool as kind of a connection. Yes, there will be a short video that came out, I think, yesterday. You'll have seen it pre this if you have been following it. And essentially it was talking about how purple belts essentially put themselves in shitty positions, and as you know through my journey, that's something that got me onto this. So and made me realise that this is where it's at. And so yesterday morning, Aaron and I sat down. It was just us in the morning, so I had a plan for basically a lesson. But what I wanted to do with Aaron, there was a few areas that he's really, really good at on me that I wanted to address, and so I just asked him to put me in like fairly deep. One was he had my back with arms connected in the way that he wanted, borderline about to get my arm trapped by his leg, and I just did that a few times, worked that out. Did another one where he was in kind of a side control with one of my arms stapled, and he was then trying to Kimura basically fuck with my other arm, and I was trying to figure it out, because he reckons he learnt that off me, and now I'm not necessarily getting done by it as often as but I'm getting stuck in it, and it's resulting in me doing dumb shit that I needed to fix. So I'm not saying I've fixed it now, but I've had a few more attacks at it that I know what I need to do. And then so I got the opportunity to do a game for essentially single leg game. So with Jayden during the day. So had it was just the daytime workshop, and Jayden essentially, first off, we literally just had collar tie, and the goal was for me, I had a collar tie, but he had the inside arm, and my goal was to get on the outside of his arm while controlling it, and his goal was to stop me, and we could swap over hands. That was the first thing. And then the second thing we looked at, from memory, it was using that to go to the back, so to basically try and shuck under to the back, but far out. I wish I'd done this breakdown yesterday, because it was much fresher yesterday, but so I designed the class quite well, I think, and what we ended up going from the kind of the initial upright, breaking the collar tie, that sort of thing, to immediately down into holding a single leg and using that single leg properly cuddled, I suppose. In order, and the idea was just put their butt on the ground, so everything was locked up how you'd want it, and the goal was to put them on the deck. And one thing that I'd thought about previous was destabilizing. Everyone's kind of ready to step back. So if you destabilize by pulling them towards you and then going forward, and trying to put their butt on the ground, it works so much better. So we did that, and the emerging behaviour was great. It was exactly what I was hoping for. Destabilisation, so immobilisation, destabilisation, and then execution of the task. And the issues that arose from it were arms coming away from us, so they're not as strong, and a variety of other sort of things there. A variety of other so things that could be addressed. So maybe keeping a bit tighter around the leg, closer to the hip joint, rather than kind of letting it try and get down to the knee and using the knee, because obviously that's something. So that was something which I kind of maybe instructed a bit more than I needed to or should have. But yeah, that's all good. But yeah, so yesterday was really cool for that. And I'm a little bit behind on my posting schedule in that normally I'm kind of 2 ahead, whereas like 2 days ahead, whereas now I'm actually posting on the day. I've got several. Part of the reason for this is upload speed is really shit where I am. So there's been a couple of times where I've uploaded something and then it's failed, and then it's just anyway. That's a technical issue. That's a me problem, not a you problem. Thank you very much for joining me today on my journey through the ecological dynamics and constraints-led approach. I hope to see you in the next one. It's going to get better. I hopefully am giving you more information now. I am going to get better, I promise. Alright, see ya.